I'm ready.
Okay? All right.
We are your hosts, Amanda
And Lindsay, two teachers with a passion for uncovering the strange, unexplained, and downright eerie.
In every episode, we dig into bizarre historical events, supernatural legends, and real-life mysteries, blending research, storytelling, and a touch of classroom curiosity. Join us as we explore the paranormal one lesson at a time.
Welcome to the Paranormal Classroom.
The Paranormal Classroom.
All right. Well.
Are you already recording?
Yeah, I started recording.
Hi, everybody.
Turns it on. Goes from, I feel like cockapoo to, hi, everybody. In your fuzzy little coat.
Oh, I don't feel good today.
I'm
We can
sorry.
tell our listeners. I feel like I have a fever, but I don't have a fever.
And I'm risking it for the biscuit.
It's all for
I'm going to crack a window
the
just
four
a little
listeners
bit.
that we have.
Hey, they're four outstanding people.
Yeah,
My
they are.
mom and Chicago Mark and my husband.
And Jenny.
I don't even know if Jenny still listens.
Oh.
She may have dropped off after the first episode. Jenny, are you still with us? No, I have a few more friends who I know listen. And our little buddy Neona. All right, well, it's my turn. My turn. So here's my question. It's just an opener question.
Are we going to do What's Haunting You?
Oh, well, sure, I guess so.
I have nothing planned, though.
I assumed What's haunting you might be that you're not feeling
Yep,
good. What
that's
else?
it. That's all it is. What's haunting you?
What's haunting me? There isn't really anything chomping at my bits.
You
that
just
means.
cracked yourself
I don't know what that means. But I watched a History Channel or something. I just happened to find this thing about paranormal crimes or something like
Oh,
that.
that sounds good.
And
Yeah.
there was one about this guy who sadly blew himself in an RV up
Oh, no.
in a downtown area because of his belief in lizard people.
Oh, no.
And so then it was like, gave me the rundown on the history of how that whole conspiracy theory came to be. And that was fascinating because I've only ever heard it kind of like as a joke, like,
Right.
oh, lizard person,
Me
oh, they're
too.
lizard people. But to hear the kind of the history of the lore and the conspiracy and the creepypasta and the mass hysteria type of stuff.
Yep, we talked about it a little bit in our episode on Ramtha and
Oh,
Jay-Z
yeah,
Knight
yeah.
because they believe in the lizard people.
Yeah, it's interesting. Everybody just wants an explanation for the weird. So, speaking of weird, what if superpowers were not just for comic books? So I'm a huge dork. So are you. No offense.
No, I am.
You know this.
More than you. Not
And
offended.
I love like the X-Men.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like-
playing X-Men Marvel's. Oh shoot, I don't know what it's called. It's a new video game that's like
Ooh.
Fortnite, but it's with Marvel characters. You would love it. It's super fun.
Oh, I don't have time for video games anymore. Just dingle games on my phone. But I love Wolverine's my favorite. Who's your favorite X-Men?
I love Spider-Man. Crazy about him.
Oh, just a different. Yeah, he's Marvel character. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm sick.
Just who is your favorite X-Men?
Oh, X-Men.
But superpowers in
Oh,
general. That's fine
Well,
too.
I love Rogue.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And that sweet silver streak in her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And Gambit.
Which one was Gambit again?
Gambit's the one he ends up dating Rogue at some point, but
Yeah, he
he
can do things
throws
with
cards.
cards.
But he's got that cool accent from the Bayou.
Oh, that's right. He's got the Cajun accent.
Mhm.
That's cool. Yeah. They're all rad. Well, what if real people walked among us with extraordinary abilities?
Well, this is you. Okay, you reminded me of the episode we did on
Yes.
Joshua. No,
Stephen Paget.
Jason Paget.
But then
Yeah.
also the other guy who has the ability to
That's
see
right.
the spiritual world.
Mhm.
So, but this is, what if they had extraordinary abilities, and P.S. they do, thanks to science?
So like science has changed their DNA or given them something like adamantium claws. And...
Well, no claws, sadly. No, like, things coming out of their...
snick it,
their-
snick it, snick it. That's what it is in the comic book when Wolverine.
It's a snicket?
Yeah, when Wolverine like shoots out his things, it's SNIKT, snicket.
Oh, snicket.
Snicket.
Oh, that's funny. That's the onomatopoeia.
Yes,
right? That's
yes.
what they call that. That's a good one. So it sounds a little bit like a sci-fi movie, some of the things I'm going to tell you, but it turns out that some people do have, this is not going to be news to you, but I just find it fascinating, and my brain's been just spinning different stories about this week. So I thought, I'm just going to bring it up as a topic for us.
Great topic.
But some people have genetic mutations, so scientific explanations that actually give them what we might call superhuman abilities.
Okay.
So today we're going to dive a little into the science behind these rare cases, but people who can like run for days, which I have dreams that I can do because I am not a runner. Never have been, even though I tried. My poor dad, who's a track and cross country coach, tried so hard. Just wasn't, it's not in my DNA. But I have dreams. I haven't had them for a long time where I can just run and never get tired. It's fantastic.
That's cool.
There are real people who can do that.
Yeah.
It's wild. Others who can withstand extreme cold or even seem to have photographic memory. So is it genetics? Is it training? Is it a mix? Let's find out. So as we go through each case, I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. Would you want these abilities, for example? And what do they tell us about maybe the future of humanity?
Neat.
Da, da, da. All right, so the science of genetic mutations, just to kind of set that foundation. You took a breath. You want to say something?
Just not feeling good.
Just wheezing.
Just wheezing. Okay. Trying to survive here in your car.
Well, let me know at any point if you need to get out and take a NyQuil or.
Okay.
All right. So before we get into the people themselves, let's talk about what's actually happening inside their bodies. So genetic mutations, they work like this. The genes in our bodies are like instruction manuals, or they're better than like IKEA instructions, but they're the code.
I would hope so.
Well, for some people, they're slightly more complicated. Although if I look around,
so
I can be like, that dude's working with an IKEA manual. So sometimes in these instruction manuals or codes, there's little typos. Let's just think of it that way. Little typos might appear. These are called mutations, but most mutations don't do much. And sometimes they're helpful and sometimes they can be harmful. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, one gives a major advantage.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. Can you think of any?
Well, I can think of the people in Kentucky who are blue. And that's like passed down because of all their inbreeding and their skin is blue because of some kind of genetic mutation. Mm-hmm. But that's not one that's helpful. I'm sure it's not helpful.
Probably not. Okay, so here's a couple. So some famous examples include Sherpas. Like the people who guide you and carry your stuff if you're in Nepal or and climbing Mount Everest, for example.
Just really good at moving with little oxygen?
And they have incredible cardiovascular strength.
Wow.
They have a mutation that helps them process oxygen better at high altitudes.
That's cool.
Isn't that neat?
But I can also see how that develops if you're going to live in that area, right?
But that's often what this is how mutations is how evolution works. Right. So just they live in this area. They are people that become Sherpas are probably kind of more prone athletically or physically to do that work, and therefore their offspring would stand a chance of also being just as skilled or gifted in that way, and then so on and so on.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, they process oxygen at higher altitudes. There's another mutation that's called the CCR5 delta 32 mutation, which makes some people naturally resistant to HIV.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
That's wonderful. But how would you know if you have it? You'd have to. Can they test for these things?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Blood test, DNA test, genetic studies. They probably found it sort of by accident, I would imagine. A lot of these scientific discoveries.
My brother did one of those DNA tests that you send him, your spit in the mail. Yeah.
You haven't done it yet?
No, I would like to do it, but I have my brother's results, and I'm assuming they're kind of similar.
Siblings, they'll be similar, but we used to think you have the same DNA as your full-blooded siblings. Like if you have the same parental ancestors or whatever, your parents are the same, that you would have the same, but you don't. So in mine, I have 2% West African.
Wow.
But I don't think my sister does.
Wow.
But we have the same biological parents.
Right.
Unless they're harboring secrets. No, we do.
No.
So, yeah, and that's been really cool to sort of explore and figure out. All right, so there's also lactose tolerance. 12,000 years ago, a single person developed the ability to digest milk. That's that person that I wonder about more often than a person should. Like, who was the first person that took a look at that goat or that cow and was like, I'm going for it? You know what I mean? Somebody had to be the first.
I guess I don't understand. Were people before it? Did they try it and they got sick?
Well,
and this is
most
the first
people in
sick?
like Asia they're lactose intolerant.
Oh no!
Because it's not a part of their diet.
There's so many foods they can't eat.
But it's not a part of their diet.
They can't have cheesecake
or pizza. They don't care.
They should care. It breaks my heart for them.
We should be eating more like them, Amanda.
That's true.
These blue zone people, like, we should be eating like them. But yeah, I've often thought like the drinking of milk is weird. I don't do it. I do appreciate a good cheese product. But yeah.
So they're drinking milk and they're getting sick, and this one guy's like does it and he's like, look at me, you guys, and he can chug all the milk.
Yeah, he's the first one that has one of those gallon challenges.
Yeah.
So scientists estimate that each human genome duplication introduces around 100 new mutations, meaning unusual abilities can and do emerge. So,
wow.
Yeah. So while mutations don't grant retractable claws, like I wish they would,
Snick it.
or control over the weather, we'll talk about cloud seeding some other time. They are nature's way of introducing new traits into our gene pool. Most are minor or invisible, but some provide distinct advantages. Do you, Amanda, possess any known mutations that help or hinder your daily life?
No mutations. No, I mean, I can curl my tongue, but I know a lot of people can do that.
Yeah. But I think it is a recessive trait.
Right, because not everybody can do it.
I can put 4 to 5 loops in my tongue. Like, loop,
I love that you can do that. I love the curly tongues. I don't have that.
It takes work. It takes practice. I can also turn my eyelids inside out.
Not
a genetic mutation.
No, thank
just
you.
makes me a weirdo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think.
I really don't think I have anything that special. Although, when I had my kids, my body changed drastically after pregnancy. So my hair color completely changed.
Yeah, you were blondie blonde.
Like there was a line of the new color growing out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I went to the hairdresser and she's like, wow, like just really weird line of new color growing out. And my feet grew a size and a half.
What?
Uh-huh. Can't fit
Do
into
they think
any of
they
my
just
shoes before
flattened out? Because mine kind of flattened out.
Maybe I gained so much weight and I just like flattened my own feet out.
I think part of it has to do with impact and gravity and our age and stuff. But yeah, I grew probably a half size. But
yeah, pregnancy totally changed me. I had 13 cavities when I had never had a cavity before.
What?
Ever.
They sucked the life out of you. Babies are parasites.
Yeah.
I mean, really, truly, they're parasites. They're parasitic organisms.
Yeah.
Just feeding off of us, sucking everything out of us.
Yeah.
Then there's the occasional woman who like is glowing and feels the best she's ever felt.
Right. Totally worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But
absolutely.
Pregnancy changed my body. But I don't know if does that change your DNA? I don't think it does.
Your DNA. So your children's DNA, if you carry your own children biologically, their DNA, and I'm going to use the word sloughs for lack of a better term, but it sloughs off into you. You will forever carry bits of their DNA in your brain, like in your body.
That's sweet.
And siblings. So the second born sibling will have some of the first ones. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah. What about you? You didn't answer. You answered.
Oh, no. I mean, the tongue thing. My husband's left-handed, which is a bit of only 11% of the population or so is left-handed.
Oh, I do know a lot about dyslexia, and about 1 in 5 people are on the dyslexia spectrum.
Yeah.
So that would be something that's less common. But, people with dyslexia can be extremely intelligent with like engineering and all kinds of talents. So they could be like a superpower.
Luck into finding people who are willing to teach them differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, are you ready to meet some people with
Yes.
real life mutations with extraordinary abilities?
Yes.
Okay, there's a bunch.
Okay.
So, bear with me. We're just going to go through them. Wim Hof, which is already one of the best names I've ever heard
That
of.
is a Star Wars name.
Yeah, Wim Hof.
Wim
Wimhof. Two different names. Wim Hof. The Iceman. That's his nickname. Iceman. All right, so this guy is famous for enduring extreme cold. He's climbed Mount Everest in just a short period of time. He swam in just shorts.
Oh, in just shorts.
Just a short period.
Shorts and flip-flops.
In just shorts.
Wow.
Swam under ice and can hold his breath for minutes in freezing water.
Whoa.
I saw a thing today, so I'm planning my trip to Europe this summer, and one of the things we're going to do is the Titanic Museum in Belfast, because that's where the ship was built. And one of the pieces of the exhibit is like a bucket of water you put your hand in. It's
to feel how cold it is.
To feel the same temperature of the water. And most people, when they plunge their hand in, can only last 8 seconds. It will time you. There's a timer.
Yeah.
And they feel a burning sensation after 8 seconds.
I think that's why Jack couldn't get on the door. I think there was room on the door for Jack.
Absolutely.
Rose, but I think he was too frozen to crawl up there. That's my theory.
Oh, he couldn't move his muscles.
Yeah, because the water was that cold.
Don't you think she could have like pulled him?
Well, she was probably cold too, but maybe.
True, but love will warm you right up. Enough to save. If moms can lift cars off of their children, Rose could have lifted a brother onto the door. But no. Have you ever seen those diagrams where people have like
they try to like
all the countless ways he could have fit on the door?
I wonder if Mythbusters has done anything on it to try and
probably. I know other people have for sure. So scientists think that Wim Hof's body is just different. His breathing techniques activate his autonomic nervous system, something we didn't think was possible. Plus, he has more, and giddy up for this because I've never heard this term before, brown fat, which helps generate heat.
Oh.
Now, I'm wondering, because I have a couple people in my family who are like furnaces.
Maybe
like
they're
a lot of always hot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know,
like
but
weirdly
I
hot.
appreciate those people. I like to put my feet on those people because
those people do not like me to put my feet on them.
No, but I like to put my feet on them
Yeah.
because they warm up my toes.
Yeah. So studies suggest that training does help, but some of his resistance might be genetic. Can you think would you want that ability? Like just being...
Sure, I'll take any superpower.
Well, sure,
but I don't know that would be my first pick because I don't do
I don't do open water swimming anyway. I don't even want a cold plunge. I don't want a cold shower. No, I will do a cold rinse at the end of my shower, like a quick burst to just seal my pores or whatever mythology I subscribe to. All right, next up. All right, so the next guy is Dean Kamazes. So he's the guy who can run forever. He can run for days, literally.
Where's he from?
No idea.
I ask because I've heard of this tribe of people somewhere in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Who their stamina for walking and running is so incredible that they can outwalk animals. So what they do when they're hunting is they just
outpace
them.
They
just walk after an antelope or whatever they're hunting.
The Maasai. And
until the antelope like passes out with exhaustion, and they can just they're still walking. They can walk right up to it and pick it up. They don't. Yes.
I bet that's the Maasai people.
I don't know their name.
That's awesome. Well, this guy's body doesn't build up lactic acid like most people's do, so he doesn't get that like muscle soreness and tightness and pain. So yeah, scientists believe his body processes just lactic acid differently, but yeah, while most of us hit a wall, he just doesn't. So
I'd be interested to know if these people that you're listing off, if they had kids and if the kids inherited.
You always take it to the level I should when I'm doing my research.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's good. That's good. I don't know.
It's just wondering, things to like look up later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what a good student does is they
Or if like two of these people met and had children, did they get some like
would
freaky
that
weird
be?
mutation combo?
Right.
Like they can run really fast under freezing cold water.
Or up Mount Everest.
They can run up Mount Everest in just shorts. Oh gosh. So in a short amount of time. So yeah, I always wonder, like, could we in the future, which is a whole like ethical debate, but could we edit genes to give marathon runners this ability? Or soldiers, but should we? Probably not.
We do edit genes for some things, though.
I know.
Like, you can, like, I had a friend who, her brother had a mutation that was, like, could be passed down through the family in men. It was only a gene that passed through men in the family. But she could have had a son and passed it on to him.
Interesting.
And it creates a disability. And so she went with her husband to have their, somehow they did the magic science thing.
Yeah.
And they made it so that she only had girls.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that way she prevented having a male child who could have possibly had that.
That's wacky, because I thought that the sex of the baby was determined by the male.
I know. I don't know how they did it. Maybe it has to do with like crazy temperature or just the right, like.
You gotta stand on your head.
I don't know what they did.
No.
It was done in a lab. It was like done in a petri dish, and then they put the eggs back in. And,
oh, they may have gone through and like.
Cold.
Weeded them out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cold. That's a great word. A purge. Cooling. So Stephen Wilshire. So far, all men. I promise there are some women.
Okay.
The human camera. This is a guy. This is fascinating. There are YouTube videos and stuff about this. He can glance at a city once and then draw it in perfect detail down to the number of windows on buildings.
Wow, that is savant syndrome stuff. Like we did an episode on savant syndrome.
He does. He has savant syndrome, which means, certain areas of his brain are hyperactive. But yeah, some people think his brain processes visual information differently. You think? You don't have to be much of a researcher to get that.
That's incredible. He's gonna win every I Spy game.
Sure, that's top of the order for him. He found out he had this when he was 6 and was like, yes!
I'm owning this Highlights magazine.
Don't even ask me. So it's probably a mutation related to memory and perception, but wild.
Yeah, that's a wonderful one.
And you can see his drawings. So, well, not only does he have this photographic, crazy, ridiculous memory, but he's also an artist. So that's pretty cool. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Li Jin Yong, the man who feels no pain. This one is a little scary too.
I've heard of people who have this, and it is scary because something can happen to your body and you wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has a mutation in the SCN9A gene, which, exactly where that's at, right? Just
Nope,
me neither. But every time I think about genes and talk about genes, I think of the DNA guy in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
I'm the DNA, and I'm going to be taking you on this tour.
So cute.
So that gene stops his nerves from sending pain signals. There's a downside, obviously. Pain is sometimes useful. It tells us when something's wrong. So this guy could get, like you said, seriously injured.
And wouldn't know.
Break a bone, scissors through the hand.
Yeah.
Something, gunshot wound, who knows? And he wouldn't even realize it. So what would you rather have? Super endurance like Dean Kamaze's, or feel no pain like Li Jin Young?
I think feel no pain.
Really?
Yeah, but I have so much anxiety about the world. I think I'd be really careful. I think I could pull it off. But
wouldn't you have anxiety about not feeling the pain?
Yeah, but I don't know.
You'd just be watching like Hall of Mirrors, just always looking around like,
I would just be really careful, I think.
Or
I mean, I don't do anything that like is risky. I don't walk downstairs and it's in the ice. I don't.
No.
I think I'd be really careful.
Yeah.
I could pull it off.
You probably could. All right. Number 5, Veronica Sider, supervision. This one's kind of wild. She has vision 20 times better than normal.
Whoa.
Yep. She's like a lion on the savannah. Wow. She can see details a mile away.
That's amazing. That's one I would want.
I would want
you
that
would
one
want
too.
That one.
That's like super soldier stuff, though.
Yeah. She could use her powers for good or evil.
Yeah. Her eyes her eyes have a much higher concentration of cone cells. So she can process detail to a much higher degree. It's super rare. Scientists still don't know exactly what caused it, but it's an unknown genetic factor. Yeah, but she could see individual leaves on a tree from across a valley.
Oh, wow.
All right, here's some others. We'll kind of bang through these guys. Finnish from Finland, a Finnish Olympic skiing champion. Now, here's the name. Eero Montiranta.
Okay.
Mantiranta. He may have been the first Finnish sportsman to test positive for hormone doping, but he probably didn't need to since he had genetic super endurance powers. So he was an athlete and he had this erythropoietin receptor gene.
Whoa, say that 10 times.
Right. That resulted in the ability to carry 50% more oxygen in his bloodstream. So he was doping and he didn't even need to be. Doofus.
What an idiot.
I know. How about just train for a while and figure it out? Like, I can do this awesome thing.
That sounds cool. It sounds kind of related to the Everest guy, maybe, or the cold water
Any
guy?
of the physical
Yeah.
ones, the athletic ones, I think. When you think of genetic disorders, we often think of the negative side of that, like physical frailty, because there are things like brittle bone disease, stuff like that.
Right.
Or the guy who can feel no pain. But there's also little Liam Hoekstra, who in 2009 made headlines as, quote, the world's strongest toddler.
That's cool.
Can you imagine?
But that sounds like a good, I mean, not a bad thing.
It's wild, though. He has a rare genetic condition in which his body blocks the protein myostatin, which inhibits muscle growth. So individuals or animals with this deficiency tend to have much larger muscles with little body fat. It's an inherent super strength. So he doesn't lift or like toss cars or big barrels or anything, but he's just super, super strong. And I think I remember seeing little pictures of him and he's rocking like a little toddler 6-pack and he's just jacked in this little tiny body.
I think I've seen pictures of him. He's
Isn't that
darling.
so funny though.
Yeah. Man, I'm thinking about like all these, how intelligent you have to be to figure out how DNA works and genes and all these big words that you're saying. It feels like there's this whole level of people above us because we're pretty smart, right? Like we have our master's degrees.
If we do say so ourselves.
But like there's this whole level way
yeah.
above us where they have, it's almost like listening to someone else's secret code.
Oh, for sure. I have a friend named Kelly who I don't think listens to the podcast. I have a lot of friends named Kelly. This Kelly is she's a engineer, but she's like I think she might even be something similar to like a genetics engineer. Like she is an incredible scientist. And for a while, I think she's doing some of the same work. She had to, people would make a proposal to do like a scientific study or scientific research on humans with human subjects. And she was part of the process of determining whether that was ethical or not.
Cool job.
Whether they could do that or not.
Cool job.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So then there's, we have the super toddler, and then we have Michael Lotito, who was a French entertainer known as Monsieur Mangetot.
Was he super bendy?
No, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
Well, I do have one of those too, so hang on to your hats. This is Mr. Eats All.
Oh, like a hot dog contest winner.
There's one of those too. This guy eats metal. Or did eat metal.
That's not a good idea.
Have you heard about the guy that who ate over like a course of I don't know how many years, ate like a Cessna plane?
This
is the guy.
Stupidest thing I've ever. Why? You must get all kinds of like metal poisoning from.
Well, he didn't live a super long time. I think he died when he was like 54 or something. Yeah, he would eat all manner of non-consumable objects and be like, "I'll show you," made of like glass, rubber, and metal.
Ew.
Yeah,
his guts would have been all torn up.
Oh, don't worry. He downed them with some mineral oil to make them slide right on down.
Okay.
Yeah. One of his most impressive feats was consuming an entire Cessna 150 plane, which he ate in small bits over the course of 2 years. A whole plane.
No.
So, first of all, he suffers from a condition known as pica, which is...
Oh, is it pica or pica?
I've heard it as pica.
I have heard of that. I had a student, actually, who we were getting tested for that because she would just eat things that were not food all the time. Yeah.
Oftentimes, like, starts as, like, paper or dirt or bits of metal or things like that. Yeah, so non-consumables, rocks, stuff like that. He had an abnormally thick lining in his stomach and intestines that made it possible for him to eat sharp metal objects. Yeah, they would kill lesser people, but here's your superpower. You can eat a plane. Pass.
Hard pass. Pass.
How do you figure that out, though, too? Like, I feel like my stomach is super extra thick. Let me try this bowling ball.
How's that useful for anybody?
It's not. It just probably earned him some acclaim and maybe paid some bills, but somebody had to buy that plane.
Yeah.
All right, then you talked about the hot dog dude. So, or people who can competitively eat.
Yes.
Like, oh gosh, I know the Kobayashi is the last name. Takeru Kobayashi attributes some of his unique quote unquote ability to the fact that his stomach sits far lower than that of the average human. So when he eats, it has more room to expand upwards, like
Weird.
like me in training for Thanksgiving. Stretchy
That's
pants,
so
check.
weird.
Stretching my stomach for weeks beforehand so that I can have both types of pie. Yeah, so when he was asked about his condition is unnamed. It's a digestive condition, but it doesn't have its own name. I think we should call it the Kobayashi condition.
Yeah.
During a 2012 interview, he said that, quote, "The stomach condition is true. I have been checked, not on a serious level. I have had a camera."
Not on a serious level.
I have had a camera. So this is like a neighbor? Like what? A buddy came over and stuck a camera down there? He's like, well, I've swallowed weirder things. Put down in my stomach before. When they put it inside, just the camera touching the inside of my stomach stretched it, and it surprised the doctors because of the elasticity. So it went in there, was like, whoa, whoa, just like bounced off of his. That's crazy. Okay.
I'm loving this, by the way.
Do you
This is
remember
a
the
great
actress Mary Lou Henner from Taxi?
Mary Lou Henner
The redhead on Taxi. She was great.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Yes. Still is. I believe she's
Yeah.
still alive. She has, and I remember seeing this before, she has hyperthymesia.
Okay, let me be
Do
smart.
your word.
Well,
whispery.
hyper means too much or an excessive amount of so hyper. What
Mm-hmm.
are the other parts?
Thymesia, Thy, or thymesia, Thymesia.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know what the thyme is. Thyme.
It's
not
that
like
you
thyme,
are
it's not
super
like the herb.
into like Thanksgiving cooking.
It's like the herb.
Right. Nope.
No, what is it?
So it's the ability to recall every tiny, stupid detail from your life.
She can do that?
Yes. Every second, going back decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
I definitely do not have that ability.
That
I'm the
would just
opposite of
feel
that
like
ability.
such a burden. But so she was on the late, like I said, the 1970s TV sitcom Taxi, which was hilarious. It was her most notable role, but she also has this condition which makes her pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And I'm talking every detail she can remember. She is only one of 25 confirmed cases of hyperthymesia.
Gosh.
Which allows her to pinpoint the smallest details of her life on nearly any given day. She told ABC that rifling through her memory is similar to viewing, quote, little videos moving simultaneously. Oh, God, that just makes me want to hurl.
That is spectacular, though.
Oh, yeah. When somebody gives me a date or a year or something, I see all these little movie montages, basically on a time continuum, and I'm scrolling through them and flashing through them.
Wow.
Weird, right?
Super weird.
So while some scientists theorize hyperthymesia is the result of an obsessive-compulsive need to constantly review and therefore renew one's memories, but why? Why would you need that? There is also a physiological link in which the temporal lobe and caudate nucleus of the brain are found to be enlarged in people like Mary Lou Henner.
Okay.
I do not have that.
Just incredible, though.
I'm definitely at the age where I'm having a hard time with recall.
That's what I said a couple weeks ago, but you got mad at me. You were like, look, I'm just tired.
I do remember that. I remember you saying that. Oh, phew. We're not so far gone. Okay, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This one creeps me out, skeeves me out. So, even if you don't know the name Javier Botet, chances are you have seen his work if you're a horror movie fan, and you are, Amanda.
I do like horror movies. I'm in a horror club.
Javier. He was the titular character in Mama. So Mama.
Mama's a great movie.
I don't know that one. And he was Set, S-E-T, in the 2017 remake of The Mummy.
I don't remember
remember that either. And Slenderman.
But he must be super skinny.
Yes.
Like insanely
and
skinny.
bendy.
Neat.
Yeah. So while a lot can be done with makeup and CGI, it's no replacement for, what does my daughter call it? Like the Barbie movie had, like, all the sets were real. They made those. They actually built those and made those. And there's a word for it, and I can't think of what it is right now. But it's no replacement for the real deal. CGI makeup does not have the same effect as someone who can actually look like that and bend like that. So
I'm going to look him up later. I want to
yeah,
see a picture of him.
he is super spooky. He can bend himself in ungodly poses. He has a genetic condition known as Marfan syndrome, which affects connective tissue throughout the body. People with Marfan tend to be unusually tall, with long limbs and fingers, and have abnormal flexibility.
Is it painful for him? I hope not.
I don't think so, but it can have in severe cases, it can lead to life-threatening defects, I guess, in the heart and other organs. So that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But those with mild symptoms of Marfan can live long, normal, full, healthy lives. Okay, here's one of my favorites. Ozzy Osbourne.
I know the man.
God,
the Bat Eater.
I love him.
He's so funny.
He is so funny.
Yeah, so charming.
I'm sure, and being married to him, Sharon Osbourne,
well,
I'm sure you listen.
She's
God
charming
bless you.
too. She's wonderful.
Oh my gosh, yes. And to be married to that man for decades, the wildness. I mean, wild upon wild for so many different reasons throughout every chapter of his life. So, but why is he still alive?
I don't know. Because
it's a miracle.
He should have gotten rabies from eating that bat.
It's a miracle. And I'm a fan. So I asked this question as a fan. So for someone who has, by his own admission, drank, smoked, popped, snorted, and injected copious amounts of substances over the years, how is he still around when so many similarly inclined musicians from the past are not? Well, the answer may be due to his mutant superpowers for partying. Really, it's a thing. So back in 2010, Ozzy had his genome sequenced, and researchers said they found several gene variants, quote, never seen before.
Wow.
That's my favorite thing in the medical world is when they are like, I've never seen anything like this. Get in here. Like 30 people show up.
And then you get something named after you.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Kobayashi syndrome, the Ozzy Osbourne syndrome.
That would be rad.
So cool.
Just the genome sequence for partying. Come on. They are, perhaps unsurprisingly, found in regions of the genome associated with alcoholism and how the body absorbs methamphetamine and other recreational drugs. Wow. So he's just one of those lucky drug users that processes them seemingly okay. Yeah. Elizabeth Taylor.
I know her. Purple eyes.
Well, that's not what this is about, but close.
She did have purple eyes.
Violet eyes, supposedly. Yeah. She's an actress, an icon, and a mutant. She, quote unquote, suffered, oh, poor thing, from a rare condition known as dystichia.
Dis?
T-I-C-H.
Is like, okay, dis is like things that don't go together, right? Like discord or
cancels it out, like not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what's the other part?
Tichia. T-I-C-H-I-A.
I don't know. These are too hard. This is what I mean. There's a secret code that smart people speak.
Right, because the dis is wrong in this case. But, yeah, so it's which the eyelashes arise from an abnormal spot on the eyelid, which in most people's cases, that would suck, just to have eyelashes sprouting out of whatever.
Yeah.
But for Taylor, she actually boasted a double set of eyelashes.
What?
Poor thing. Which only helped draw attention to her famous violet eyes.
But did it hurt? Like, I wonder if it was caused eye watering and scratchiness and like you know how it feels when you get an eyelash in your eye?
Sure.
It's horrible.
It can, and I've had like an ingrown eyelash before. That's a terrible thing. I had one that was growing into my eyeball, and so it just constantly felt like I had.
Oh my gosh,
it was like on the inside of my eyelid, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But I felt like something was constantly poking me in the eye, and then I finally one day I just like flipped my eyelid up because I can do that, as we talked about earlier, and I saw this stupid son of a gun eyelash growing out of my eyelid on the underside, and I was like,
you yanked it.
I got it. And
it didn't grow back, which is good.
No. Knock on wood. I do not want to wake up with dystichia tomorrow. So it can have medical issues in some people. The eye can be like constantly brushed against the other lashes. But in her case, it only led to fame and fortune. So, wah, wah.
Cool.
All right. You've always heard that you need 8 hours of sleep a night.
I've heard it.
Yeah. My husband used to work with somebody who like pushed himself to get to like 2 to 3.
Oh no, that
I will
doesn't
say
sound
it
healthy.
did not work out for his personality.
No, it doesn't sound like a good idea at
Yeah.
all.
But there are some people out there who require far less, and their reason is genetic. At the UC San Francisco, researchers conducting genetic tests on sleep test participants located a mother and daughter who share an unusual trait. They both carry an abnormal copy of a gene known as DEC2, which affects the circadian rhythm. The result is they are short sleepers who need far less sleep than the average person.
That is a superpower. You get more life that
So
way.
much done. Yeah, you get so much done. This is a genetic disposition that may affect as many as 5% of the population.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Might not just be the blue light that everybody's looking at on their phone.
Right.
It might just be
Maybe some people really just
you're a
don't need
mutant.
it. But I don't believe it when my 12-year-old comes to me and is like, Mom, I don't need
Yeah, right.
I don't need all
And
my
falls
sleep.
asleep standing up the
Nope.
next day. All right, we're almost done. Let's see. We've got polydactyly.
Okay.
You know this one.
Poly is multiple, right?
Mhm.
Dactyl, something to do with hands or something, right?
You got it. Yep. So having multiple, like I had a cat, Bono, who we were hoping would be a polydactyl because it's a thing that's
Calico
really
cat?
common in. No, he was my little pixie Bob,
Oh.
and they're most of the time they have like an extra toe, and they're so cute. These big paws. He did not have that mutation.
But that's polydactyl, extra finger, extra toe.
Yeah. So there's a
Cool.
famous major league pitcher named, he was a relief pitcher named Antonio Alfonseca. And he, of course, he was, obviously well trained and had lots of practice to be a pitcher. But it might have partially been due to a sixth finger on his throwing hand.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I've heard of other famous six-fingered people. There's like Anne Boleyn, one of King Henry's wives.
Oh,
had
Anne Boleyn?
six-finger-
She
Anne-
had
Anne
six?
Boleyn, yeah.
Oh,
And then, of course, there's the guy from The Princess Bride.
oh yeah. The six-fingered
The
man.
six-fingered man.
Let me see your
I do
hand.
have 6 fingers on.
Only
it.
5 fingers. So they called him El Pulpo, which is hilarious. That means the octopus.
Ah, that's cute.
Yeah. And let's see. Okay. Oh, there's an unnamed Connecticut family. My husband's from Connecticut, so I thought this one was funny.
Uh-huh.
They were found to, again, quote, suffer from a genetically linked condition which resulted in significantly stronger and denser bones. The bones appeared to be resistant to age-related wear.
Cool.
Like an
Good for them.
anti-osteoporosis.
That's nice for them.
The funniest part of that to me is that they're unnamed. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Who they are?
Can't get osteoporosis. Yeah, it's an unnamed Connecticut family. Like they're in the
Like they want to keep it secret?
Yeah, they're in the witness protection program for their strong bones. That's so
I wonder
silly.
if some of these people do get pulled by I don't know who our secret government agencies are that handle superpowers.
Magneto.
But, yeah. But I wonder if they like ever get called up by the CIA or whatever, and they're like, "Hey,
Charles Xavier.
can you do something for us? We got a little
Yeah.
trip for you to take in another
It involves
country."
getting hit with a bat in the shins. We think you can handle it.
I was thinking more the woman who like could see extremely far. That would be useful, I would think, for some espionage stuff.
Sure. All right. This one's kind of, speaking of espionage. There's one that has the nickname Immigration Delay Disease.
Immigration delay disease.
And I'm going to try to say the Latin term, a dermatoglyphia.
Derma skin.
Uh-huh.
I'm very confused on this one. I don't know what it.
Well, it leaves the afflicted without fingerprints.
Oh.
You can commit whatever crime you wish and don't have to wear gloves.
Wow. Well, see, that's why I think that CIA would call up and be like, "Hey, man,
Right?
we need you to work for
Except
us."
you'd be held up at every single port of call. Like,
Yeah.
so it came to light when a Swiss woman was not able to enter the U.S. because of her condition. So obviously all non-residents are required by law to be fingerprinted. All citizens now are required to be fingerprinted.
Listen,
I
as a
think.
teacher, can I just complain about something? We had to
Oh,
get
God.
fingerprinted how many times before
So
we could
many
work?
times.
I had to, like, why can't they share fingerprints from one agency to another?
Or like you move from one state to the next.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, and you
come
gotta do the
on,
whole
just
round of
share it,
fingerprints again.
Share it, because you could have committed a crime in the summer between working in Nevada and Washington.
Right, and I don't mind sharing my fingerprints to be a teacher. I think that's
No, but it is a
fine,
pain
but
in the
I don't
booty.
need to do it 5 times.
No.
Yeah, it is a pain in the
It's
booty.
wild.
There's no easy way to do it.
You have
You
to-
have to like like sometimes you have to like get like a special check. What are those checks from the bank to like pay for it?
A cashier's check or something,
cashier's
money
check. It's
order.
like a whole, and they're only open like 3 hours a day,
And it's like a knock 3 times and then walk around the corner and some guy in a pirate costume is going to let you in. Like it's always these cryptic weird things. And then the next day the building's not there. Like it's just
it's
wild.
a whole racket to get your
fingerprints
done.
But then even weirder is that there are people who that's their job is to fingerprint people like that. So clearly there's a demand for it, and yet we make it so challenging to pursue. It's wild. All right, so we're going to get into our final section here that I started with. So what do all of these cases tell us? So some of these mutations happen randomly. Others were influenced by training, a la the guy with the lungs and the shorts. Or the, extreme cold, running for days, that kind of thing. But we're getting to a point in science where we could and can, in theory, create superhumans. So that's where things get a little tricky for me. If we could genetically engineer people to have these abilities, should we? What if only the rich could afford such enhancements? Mm-hmm. Would that create a bigger gap between people? Probably. Would the super rich, like, essentially buy people to turn into superhumans, right? So if you're struggling, you're poor, you're desperate, destitute, some billionaire comes to you and is like, I got a deal for you. We're going to change your genetic code and you're going to do some stuff, but your family will be taken care of forever.
Wow, that's weird to think of. There's got to be movies about that. That's a whole sci-fi.
Oh yeah. But then we lose I think we also start to lose our unique identity just as humans. If we're engineering people, well then it's not the miracle of who we were supposed to be. But that's a Pollyanna way of looking at it. Because if you had a child, for example, that was going to be born with a genetic mutation and that was going to radically negatively affect their life, and you had the opportunity to change that, yes.
I think when it comes to suffering,
for me, yes, maybe not everybody,
right? Like suffering, I don't understand why we have human suffering. Like that would be a whole paranormal. Like there's so many things that we don't know about the world that are so beautiful and so amazing, and we talk about like source love and all this stuff, but I don't understand why suffering is a part of our experience.
Right.
I mean, extreme suffering, and I think I think it's worth bringing the conversation to the table about genetic, like working and changing genetics, if it has something to do with alleviating suffering. So like specifically I'm thinking of that there's this disease you can be born with where your skin is so thin that it like cracks and burns.
Or the people who are allergic to water, like they can't take a shower,
or the people
sun.
who can't go out in the sun, but I mean like just to be in constant pain, like that skin disease one. I would love to change that person's DNA and help them just not be in pain every day of their life.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you draw the line. I guess that would be how to have that conversation.
Well, and for sure. I think that's the question. But yeah, human biology is incredible. And and science is incredible. And we have a lot of opportunities and by we, I mean humans, not you and I. But that upper echelon of intelligent human,
the secret club,
has so many opportunities to do really cool, really great things. And I feel like a lot of and so many want to, right? Like finding the cures for cancer, doing all these incredible things. Or like this man that I met who designed this new incredible prosthetic leg for athletes. Right. And so Paralympians can get these special legs, and there are people who use their powers for good. Mm-hmm. And then we have so many who just want to twist it and be greedy and make it a yucky, awful thing. And I just wish all humans were good. I think most are good, but the negative, bad ones are just the loudest and have the most power, it seems.
I don't think you get riches and power without
hurting people. On the way. You are absolutely, absolutely. Hurting people, you don't care, you're narcissistic, you lack empathy and sympathy, you are no holds barred for your greed and power. Yeah. All right, listeners, we want to hear from you. if you could have one of these superhuman abilities, which would it be? Endurance, super sight. I think that's the one I don't know, super sight or super memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mary Lou Henner. Pain resistance. You'd go with that one.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, let us know. And if you liked this episode, please be sure to subscribe or leave us a review. It helps us more than you know. Gather more curious minds for what's the opposite of a culling? Collecting?
A cult.
It gets us more cult members. No. Yeah, so you got any other homework or?
I don't, so
I know you weren't feeling great, so I kind of stole your little homework thunder there.
No, you're fine. That's great. It was a super fun episode. Thank you.
Well, I
forgot I was sick.
Good. Oh, that's a win. That's a win. I'll take it. All right. So until next time, stay curious.
Class dismissed.
And don't open the door.